So Stewart, Rangers this week announced their annual accounts. What are some of the key messages contained within them?
I think the fundamental message is that the board and the investors are still backing the club and investing in both the football side and the non-football side of the club. That there was a significant investment made in the playing squad at the start of last season, which you'll see in terms of the transfer fees that we paid, and also that resulted in a lift in the wage bill in the first team squad in particular. And there was also quite significant spend on the stadium and on the training centre and the training ground in terms of some of the enhancements and improvements that were made last year.
So there was an increased loss reported. What has contributed to that?
As I said earlier, initially there was an increase in the first team wage bill, which was, we recognised there was a need to improve the strength of the squad, and to do that you need to bring in better players. So there was an investment made there. There was obviously an investment in transfer fees last year, which was quite significant, and again we've seen that this year. So there'll be another spend this year on that side of things, but I think we'll also see an improvement in the trading this year, so we won't see nearly as big a loss this year. We've spent quite a lot of money in the stadium. We're redoing the roofs, for example, in the 3 stands, which is in excess of £3 million that's been spent there. I think also we could have mitigated the loss last year by selling players. With a very sensible offer for Alfredo Morelos in the January, but the board took the view that we wanted to support the team and give us the best chance of going forward and strengthening the squad and make sure the foundations were in place for this season. And we will sell players, that'll happen. It needs to be a key part of our business model going forward, but we'll do it when it's right for Rangers to sell players and not just because we get speculative offers coming in.
You've hinted at it already, but I think probably important to reiterate that this will have no impact on Steven Gerrard's plans in the transfer market going forward.
Absolutely. These figures were known prior to Steven coming in, so we knew what was happening. The actual spend that we've had this summer, you've seen that Steven's been backed and Steven's team have been backed. I think importantly last year as well, the figures include the investment that we made in the football infrastructure by bringing in Mark Allen and bringing in a scouting and recruitment team, which we badly needed. And I think we've seen that in the quality of player that's come in this summer. So it's not had any impact on the funds that are available to Steven to spend.
There's been new partnerships announced with both Hummel and Utilita. Does the club have plans to increase revenues even further through these sort of channels to mitigate such losses in the future? Yeah,
it's a key part of the business plan, is that we grow the commercial revenues of the club. We need to look at new avenues. The commercial income has grown every year since the new board came in, and we're actually in the process of looking for a new sales and marketing director just now, and because we recognise that actually there's another level to take the club to, and we're very confident that we can grow the commercial revenues of the club. This year as well, we've been fortunate enough to have the Europa League run, and that's been a significant income stream. But again, the board have been consistent. To be financially sustainable, we need to be consistently performing in Europe, and we need to look at our transfer model and making sure that we build the value of the squad, and that value, at the right time, players will be sold, but we replace those players with good quality players, and that becomes a key part of our business model. The club obviously rely on a very committed group of shareholders. Have they given assurances they will continue to bridge gaps in the future that the club may have? The investors have been fantastic. You look at we're very, very fortunate. We've got a very committed group of investors. Some are on the board, some who aren't. And as a club, we're very fortunate that we've got that group of investors there. They are there, and they're very committed to getting the club back to the top. They know there's still further investment required in terms of the football side and the non-football side. But we need to look, and part of my job is to make sure that we're bringing in revenue from as many other streams as we can to make sure that the club becomes financially sustainable. As I say, this year, we're on schedule to be profitable at a trading level. There's further investment have come through in terms of the transfer fees, etc. But at trading level, we've made big progress this year, and we're very, very pleased with that. There's also been some discussion about UEFA's financial fair play rules. Could the club be negatively affected by these results and those rules? Yeah, financial fair play is interesting because a lot of people don't understand it, understand how it works. It's not just your bottom line losses. There's a lot of misinformation out there about how financial fair play works. We're fine as far as financial fair play are concerned. We had a share issue this year, we're going to have another share issue next year, and we're very comfortable in terms of where we sit from a financial fair play position.